so this is your second exercise video, and it's a follow-up to the first high intensity set that we've done. And since you've tolerated that one, we're going to go ahead and take it to the next level. And so basically this workout is designed for, it's fat burning, basically, is what it is. So it's not cardio and it's not strength training. It's a combined effort, which is the high intensity part of it. You get the benefits of the 24-hour afterburn, and then you can do it in less time. So instead of, I've talked a little bit about not spinning away for 45 minutes on an elliptical, or doing long-term, 45 minutes or even an hour worth of cardio. It's kind of a waste of time. Cardio should be 25 minutes long, and it should be at an intense effort. And then you can have these other workouts for the fat burning. But cardio is for cardiovascular system health, for pulmonary and heart health, lung and heart health. And then this high intensity should be a tool for fat burning. So for your purposes especially, and weight loss goals, this is actually better. So the high intensity set that we did last time, this one's going to be a lot longer. So we're not going to have a 3-minute rest in between like the last time. Basically, you're going to do a continuous workout for 20 straight minutes, but you're not going to work for the full minute each minute. You're only going to work 45 seconds out of every single minute. So you're going to have to pace yourself, especially the first time you do it. You might want to do 10 minutes and try 20 minutes maybe afterwards. So a good first time is 10 minutes, which basically means you'll cut this workout in half. So we've got 5 exercises we're going to do for 45 seconds each, with a 15-minute rest period, which is 5 minutes for the full set, and then we swing back around and repeat it, and then we repeat it a third and a fourth time to total 20 minutes. So like I said, the first time, a good starting place is 10 minutes, so you would just cut it in half and do the set twice. So the first exercise, and I'm actually not going to do the full, last time I think I did a full set and the video was forever long, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to really just hone in on technique and form, and that way you've got the gist of how the high intensity workout runs. You've got your app. So what you're going to do to start with is program your app for a 45-second set of work, and then 15 seconds worth of rest, and you're going to do it 10 times. So you're going to use that plus sign to make number 10. So for 10 minutes, we're going to do this steadily. So the first movement is an elevated burpee. I know we talked about the burpees, so I'm going to actually show you the modification recommendation I gave you. So this is the height of the stool that I'm using. It's about 12 inches. That's a really good height. You could go for a regular chair height, but that's going to be more like 24 to 30 inches, anywhere in there. So this is a good place, good kind of thing to use. If Sydney has like a stepping stool or something, then that's a good thing to use. Otherwise, you can go outside and use like a stair is a good height. A standard stair is about 12 inches. It might be a little bit low, but I think it's going to take the pressure off your lower back, so 12 inches is sufficient. If you have a stair in your house, you could just use the bottom step. So, and if I remember right, you have stairs. So anyway, the modified burpee goes like this. You use the stool as your hand placement, and you come out, same exact angle on the back here. You do not want to hyperextend the lower back, which looks like this. You want to have this angle here. Notice that my heels are not touching. It's like, at an angle. Come back, forward, and then jump at the top. So everything remains the same, except I'm using a stool instead of the flat ground, which is going to take a whole lot of pressure off your lower back. Now, stopping for just a second, I want to talk about why I'm barefoot. I have this really kind of thick mat. It's thicker consistency than a yoga mat, and so if you have a thick mat like this, it's a good idea to exercise when you can. I mean, you can't go to the gym without shoes, but to exercise without shoes on, because it strengthens your foot muscles. And as you strengthen the rest of your body, sometimes we have a tendency to leave our feet behind because we use these shoes that they sell us in the stores, and they're stability shoes. And so they give us too much support. So it is actually kind of good to do stuff barefoot, especially things like this where you're having plyometrics involved and you're jumping. your foot and ankle strength is really important. It keeps us from twisting our ankles and things. So elevated burpee was exercise number 1. The second one is a squat with a kickback. So it's basically hip flexion and hip extension at the same movement. So I don't like to have exercises with hip flexion, which is basically the seated position, because we're all seated in our daily life so much, especially people with office jobs. So when you squat, you're basically in hip flexion position. So in order to counterbalance that, a lot of times I'll do the kickback, which puts us in hip extension, and it kind of takes the edge off of too much flexion. So it looks like this in practice. You're going to alternate legs. You're going to lift the left first, the right second, and alternate down the line. So you squat, parallel to the floor, stand, and kick. Squat, kick, alternate each time. Now, if you can't squat parallel to the floor, it's totally fine. Just work on it, trying to go lower. You don't ever want to squat lower than parallel to the floor for anything you're doing for speed. Sometimes it is appropriate to squat lower than parallel, but that's when someone's pretty far down the fitness pathway. You don't want to do it as a beginner. So squat, kick back. The next one is jumping jacks, which standard jumping jacks. And then the fourth one is high knees, which you're going to lift your arms to parallel with the floor. Try to touch your arm with your knee. Now, what you can't see at that angle, I'm going to show you at this angle. See how I've got my arms not straight out in front, but kind of spread here? Because I want the hip angle to go out a little bit. So it looks like this, your high knees. Now, the point of this portion, number 4, is to kind of let the heart rate lower just a tad. Because the next thing we're going to do is a plank, and you do have, your heart rate's going. You have a little bit of a risk of blood pooling in the feet. So you want to kind of give your heart rate a chance to level out. So for 45 seconds, you're just basically lifting the leg. So number 5, excuse the dog, is plank. So plank, come down onto your knees, and your feet are straight back. Tank, go on. Anyway, the thing you need to know about plank is a couple of key points. Number 1 is notice my back angle. It's not flat. This is not appropriate for a plank. This is appropriate for a plank. Now, if you cannot do plank, then let me know, and I will come up with another ab exercise that's just as beneficial. So, sorry. When you're planking, the second thing I want you to remember is if you have that angle, stop it, Tank. If you have the hip angle coming up like this, that is putting all, good grief, that is putting all of the work into your thoracic cage. You do not want to do that. You want the weight distributed evenly all over your body. So if you're feeling pressure in the shoulders, that means you're in the wrong position. If you feel pressure equally in the shoulders with the low back and the legs, then you're in proper position. But if you have an uneven balance of pressure somewhere, then you need to reevaluate. So I wrote a list for you, and I'm going to show you the snapshot of it right here at the end. This is what your workout looks like. You're going to set your interval timer for 45 seconds, 15-second rest, 20 times. I'm trying to get it to where you can see it. There we go. First one is elevated burpee. Second one is squat with a kickback. Third one is jumping jacks. Fourth one is high knees. And then fifth one is plank. So you do 1 through 5, each one. You do first one 45 seconds, rest for 15. 45 seconds here, rest for 15. 45 seconds, rest for 15. 45, rest for 15. 45, rest for 15. 45, rest for 15. You just keep repeating it 4 times, so that equals 20 minutes. So you're doing your cardio, but since it's anaerobic exercise, it's high intensity interval training, which means you're going to get the afterburn, that's super important for you. So anyway, that's that. I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions, text me before you do the workout. So like I said, a bottom step works. If you don't have one of these mats, I actually recommend that you get one. See how thick it is? Just because the yoga mat serves a purpose for slipping, but it does not give cushion that you kind of need for some of the, especially like a long plank. When you start planking for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, even 3-minute plank, your elbows dig in and your knee, I mean your toes are fine, but the elbow here and the forearms can start to hurt a little bit. So they're good for push-ups too. Any kind of ab work, especially things where you're kind of curling your spine a little bit, can dig into the floor. So I do recommend one of these mats. Anyway, that's it. Good luck, have fun, and remember to pace yourself.